Oh, I love you too.
Have my babies.
I love each and every one of you in order on this very stage.
Alphabetical orange seating for you.
Well, it'll be random lottery, of course. Wow, you guys have been waiting a long time, huh?
No. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Hey. Link our...
That's some characters we actually explain.
No. Oh shit. It says Boldar was right. Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
Yes.
Torg. Out of the spaceship.
I watched that.
That's the one Link Hard review I haven't seen was the Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I kind of got fed up with that movie because the Mystery Science Theater did that, and then, what was it, Cinematic Titanic did that?
Yeah.
I was like, why would, again? I couldn't watch that one. I'm sure they did a great job, but I was like, every time I watched the second one, all the jokes from the first one were running through my head. I don't know.
TV Frank's his favorites, that's why.
TV's rank. That actually reminds me. Did any of you guys see the Let's Play I did of Dark Star?
Yeah!
Wow. Whoa. I thought like one guy would be like, yay.
Internet, what do you expect?
Woo. If you don't know, Dark Star is this sci-fi full motion video game that was made. It's been made for like the last 10 years. And it this got released last year, and it looks like a game that was made in 1992. You know, when full motion video games were still doing this thing like the Journeyman Project or Iron Helix, where you were just like a disembodied camera floating around and solving puzzles that had no business being there. It was like Myst, really. It was like Myst, which is good, I guess. But this was not as good as Myst. But the selling point was that it had the cast of Mystery Science Theater, like almost all of them.
Really?
And you're like, yeah, I was like, really? That sounds awesome. It is not awesome. It is anti-awesome. It's like, first off, it's not a comedy. I expected this thing to be like a Red Dwarf style. Like, we got the cast of Mystery Science Theater, we're gonna be crazy, we're gonna be goofy. No. It's like, it's Myst in space. But they've got, like, the villain is Trace Ballou, the guy who plays Crow. He's the villain. Spoilers. He's like the least threatening guy alive. He's like, I'm afraid you've stumbled right into my trap. and the secondary villain, Joel Hodgson. I am so not kidding. It's Joel Hodgson plays Kane from Command and Conquer. But he doesn't alter his voice at all. He's like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's like, imagine Joel Hodgson as a Klingon. What the fuck? Now the worst performance is, I don't know if you know Josh Weinstein? Okay, Weinstein. He plays, there's all these flashbacks where there's this documentary about how they settled the stars. And he plays this captain, like there's this thing called the Dark Star, which is a black hole. Yes. And so when you go into the black hole, it takes you back in time. And he does these captain's logs where Weinstein plays basically himself as a starship captain. And he's doing this thing where like they don't know what the black hole is yet. So it's like shaking them apart and they're flying around, the warp drive is failing. These extras are like, power systems at 27%, what are we gonna do? And Weinstein looks into the camera, he's like, well, I guess that's it for us. Please, for the love of God, don't send any more starships. It's horrible. it's really it's worth watching just because you can't believe. You can't, like, you're doing this serious sci-fi show and you're like, I know who we can get. We can get Joel Hodgson. He's not doing nothing. Anyway, looks like everyone's here. How are y'all doing? How sick are you of that noise? We may have to retire that one once and for all. Some guy's gonna be like, oh! Do it again! Man, you guys are up late.
Caffeine!
I can't have caffeine, so fuck every last one of them.
Liquor over here. I'm running out of liquor.
It's for my heart condition. They're like, you can't have caffeine anymore because your heart will I want that man dead.
You heard him.
Everyone, get out!
No, but this actually isn't a big deal for me because I kind of have a fucked up sleep schedule. I work late all the time. I'm up late editing, and I have to shoot late at night because my brother sleeps during the day. He's a cop. So this shit where I run around dressed like a mad scientist and screaming for Hulk Hogan, if I do that during the day, he's armed. That shit really ain't gonna fly. And the hardest part about being nocturnal is finding something to eat, which is doubly hard for me because I cannot cook. It's so bad. And it used to be back in the day, I could subsist on a diet of stale cinnamon Pop-Tarts and week-old Taco Bell. We'd make like a weekly Taco Bell trip, and we'd be like 16 bean burritos, and we'd eat 2, chuck the rest in the fucking fridge. I go to my cardiologist, he's like, you're turning 30. I don't know if you reached that point yet where the doctor looks at you and he's like, you cannot do this shit to yourself. So yeah, but there's only a few places that you can go to eat when you work as late as I do. Like, I'm up at 3, if you watch my Twitter, I'm up, I never sleep. Actually, I do sleep. I sleep around noon. But at 3:30 in the morning, there's very few places you can go to eat. And the few places that you can go to at 3:30, you don't want to. In New York, well, New York's an exception because New York is like the nexus of time and space. There is always somebody up, and actually it's kind of a rare exception, but in Arizona, we're very Puritan down there. We have Mormons. And they have, when the sun goes down, they sleep, and so there's very few places open. So there's 2 really, depending on what kind of audience you have. If you're with a group, if you're part of an acting troupe, which I was, if you're part of a band, which I was, or some other group, and you have nowhere else to go, Denny's. You like Denny's? You shouldn't. You see some fucked up stuff at 3:30 at a Denny's. I should know I was that fucked up stuff for like 10 years. I used to LARP. Yeah, you get people joke about the vampire and hooker crowd. No. The vampires at Phoenix go to Denny's when they're done LARPing. The vampire Prince of Phoenix has done more business at a booth at a Denny's. The fate of the world has been decided from those fucking booths. But I always like to play a game at Denny's at that time of night whenever I go there. It's called Denny's Roulette. Don't order breakfast at a Denny's. That's the safe bet. You want to be a man? Go to the dinner menu. You know that back page that nobody else goes to? You tried it one time and you were like chicken fried steak and it came out like your boot leather. No, play Denny's roulette. Go to the dinner menu and pick something. 3:30 in the morning. See what the waitress gives you that look. She's like, really? Like, yeah, I want the fish and chips. Oh man, you roll the dice. Because if you're a vampire going to Denny's at 3:30 in the morning, just imagine what the guy who's preparing your food looks like. He has to be there. Oh man. There's a certain class of chef that works at a Denny's, and then there's a certain class of chef that works the red eye at Second place you go to, and this is the place I always go to because I'm alone most times. Jack in the Box. They never close. That fucking clown never stops making food. But anyone who ever goes to Jack in the Box always gets the same thing. You know what it is? You know? Tacos. Oh my God, those fucking tacos. Have you seen these things? These deep-fried balls of rejected cat meat and grease with like a slice of American cheese. These are like the antithesis of the Mexican taco. This is the American taco. We bypass that lettuce shit, the tomatoes. No, we're like, we need just concentrated, saturated fat in a bag. You can see the meat through, like, you know, the meat through that's not a tortilla, it's like a wafer. And there's what should be going through your mind at this point when you're raising this thing to your mouth is like, oh my God! What am I doing to my life? No, there's no self-preservation instinct that should kick in when you're eating these fucking tacos. What is crossing your mind is, this was 2 for 99 cents. I could get like 10 of these! And my brother would. Like, oh God, I can't. Then he became a cop and he's like, I can't have the tacos. It was the saddest day of his life. He couldn't have those fucking tacos anymore. He sneaks them in though. That's why we need the food replicators from Star Trek like ASAP. That way we can eat whatever we want and it can be healthy and no problems. We just walk up to a panel and be like, boop, lobster thermidor. I don't have to waste time cooking. It's all ready. It's very healthy, but you know that's a lie. I would shamble out of bed at like 8 p.m. Sack of Cool Ranch Doritos. Triple Baconator. What are those things that are like Oreos, but they're not Oreos? Hydrox! I love the Hydroxes so much. Bag of those. 2 tacos from the Jack in the Box. And a can of Red Bull. I gotta cut that Diet Red Bull. I don't know if they do Diet Red Bull. Probably. No? Sugar-free. I'm sure it's great. I got this problem though. I mean, like, I start nitpicking things that I enjoy now. It's your fault. I get this question, why don't you review Highlander 1? I'm like, I like that movie. It's like, don't be a pussy. Tear it apart. I'm like, okay. I will. So, you know, I do the things I enjoy. I used to like Star Trek The Next Generation, I think. I don't know anymore. I nitpick the hell out of that movie now. There's so much about it that pisses me off. Like the uniforms. There's no pockets. How do you do your job with no pockets? You know what they do when they have to carry shit around on the Starship Enterprise? They wear a belt.
I'm sorry. In the actual military, they don't allow Marines to actually store anything in their pockets.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Semper Fi, man.
I completely stood.
That's alright, Semper Fi, Marine.
Hoorah!
You've been drinking, haven't you?
God damn it!
But okay, you know what? They have a utility belt. They have a jumpsuit with, it's like a jumpsuit with a utility belt. So whenever they want to carry something, they have to get like a little custom pouch. You know, this like when they want a phaser, they have a little phaser-shaped pouch. Only a phaser can go in that. They want a tricorder, they have a little tricorder-shaped pouch. Only a tricorder can go in that. With my luck, I'd be on the science team on an away mission. I'd have my shit out. The card would be like, Ensign Spoony, collect that stool sample over there. I'd be all. Pockets and seatbelts. Those are the two things the future's missing. You know, on the bridge, whenever the bridge gets hit, it's like fucking Cirque du Soleil. It's like they have a competition, like a diving competition. There's always like one guy, there's like some guy in a red shirt like walking past, and the ship gets hit, he's carrying like a tray of coffee, he's like, ah! And then there's a guy who does like an inverted pike over the tactical railing. He's like, Data's like face planting into the console. Oh, fuck me, Data, you cursed. No. Oh my god. You know what the worst job on the Starship Enterprise is? No.
Being a red shirt?
Red shirt's exciting. You get transporter chief.
The Westlake.
The transporter chief. You know why? All he did. You know he's like. You know in the old days when the elevators were, you had like elevator operators. He stands there all day. You go in. He's like 13. And he goes like. That's his job. He stands there all day, every day, staring at a wall. There's no chair in there. He can't sit. He's no one to talk to. All he does is stare at that same fucking console that you can't play Farmville on. And he just waits on the off chance the captain's gonna go down and be like, all right, Ensign Spoony, photo beam down. God help you if you're not there. Like, there's no, like, I gotta go take a shit, I run out, that's when the captain comes in. Where's Spoony? I need to operate this fucking transport stick. Damn it. But this is all he does. And so, here's what happens. This is the exact routine that a transporter chief has to sit through every day when the captain comes. He goes, Ensign Spoony, photo beam down. I go, that's it! This guy went to Starfleet Academy for God knows how long. And he goes, boop. You know, he has like those 3 little bars that go up. Those guys milk that job for all it is fucking worth. They must be unionized, I don't know. But you know, in the old Star Trek, they actually had the analog levers. The 3 little levers, and they do this thing where they'd be all dramatic about it. Sometimes they'd start off slow, and then, or sometimes they'd push like the 1st and 3rd up, and then they tweak it. They just go, but no, in Star Trek Next Generation, it's like, it's done. This is one little button, and it's all over. I don't know. The most worthless job on the Starship Enterprise, though? Counselor Troy. Answer me this. Why is she a bridge officer? There's like 3 seats on the middle of that bridge. You know who sits there? The captain, first officer, and Counselor Troy. What the fuck does she do? Now, you know, don't get me wrong. I am not minimizing the importance of psychiatric help, especially in an age when you've got a holodeck where you can literally fuck anything that your mind can imagine. Where Rule 34 has no meaning! Oh my god! God! Yeah, I need some pretty hefty psychological help as well. Yeah. So, but she's on the bridge, and this is the only input she has to offer. She's empathic, so she's actually a Klingon will decloak, and he'll be like, "Federation scum! You will pay for crossing the neutral zone, human!" And Troy will kind of shuffle up to Picard and be like, "I sense he's very angry about you." No shit. Why don't you go sense what nut I want you to suck? Wesley Crusher always got on my tits too. Not for the reasons you'd think. He wasn't an annoying little punk tart, I concede this. But it's the fact that Picard, he walks on the bridge and Picard's like, "You know what? Why don't you fly the ship?" Like, first day! How would you like to be the guy he replaced? Again, you went to Starfleet Academy 6 fucking years. You got chosen to fly the flagship of the Federation, and then this little twerp. It's just like I dreamed. And then Picard's like, "All right, get in the chair. You, Spoony, out!" I'm trying to bang this kid's mom, so be cool, would you? No, I'm out. No, he's flying this fucking thing. I just know in the future, though, there's I wouldn't be in Starfleet. I wouldn't have what it takes. I'd still be this guy on Earth, making reviews on the sub Etha about, you know, really shitty holodeck games. No, I'd be like, that Final Fantasy 30 is a piece of shit. The subspace lag is horrendous. Thanks everyone for showing up, man. Thank you for supporting me. That was my first try. How was it? So, I'm gonna get that son of a bitch.